Good evening, guys. Today is October 11th. It's about 4 o'clock Pacific time. Thought I'll do a quick check, go through a 5-step process with a new stock. The markets overall today were fairly positive. As you can see, today we hit almost 100 points positive on the NASDAQ index. Still in the uptrend, still above the channel. There's some resistance at the 13,760, 750 mark, but this one looks okay for a little bit. The market does look a little bit stretched from a relative strength perspective, RSI perspective. So, but really, I think it is going to head up a little bit more, at least to the upside for another 100, 200 points. And then depending on what the news might come out, this might be a double top in the 13,862 range. So it could take a little bit of a break somewhere over here, but for the next couple of days, weeks, I would say it should go a little bit higher and then maybe chop around a little bit, take a little bit of a break, come down again, test this 13,584 mark before it heads up again. So that's what I expect. In terms of the S&P 500, did well as well, almost about 0.5% today. 4 consecutive days in a row, S&P 500 has been green. So today's candle seemed okay, some little bit of a candle where it closed close to the high end of the mark. So this might signal to me that it wants a little bit of a break. Either it might take a small dip tomorrow or it might go a little bit higher, but I'm not expecting it to go dramatically higher. But it does look like it wants to head to the 44 or 4,500 mark from the 4,300 mark. So it's got some room to go on top. Overall market seemed good. Today, I want to talk about a stock that had very good earnings last quarter and a very good green peg candle after today as well. So Nutanix is the name of the company, NTNX. A lot of people might know the stock from quite a few while ago, did very, very well, and then has been struggling a little bit over the last few years. Let's go through a 5-step process. Step number 1, we start at the very beginning, fundamentals. Annualized basis, the company has grown from about 800 million to about 1.8 billion. So roughly a little bit more than 2 times in revenue in the last 6 years. Last 6 to 7 years, it's gone from roughly 90%, 30%, dipped quite a bit in the less than teens. Actually, this was in the single digit. And then last 2 years, it's been back in the 13 to 19% growth range. So much better right now. It's actually not profitable. You look at it from a pre-tax income standpoint, it's actually negative. It's losing quite a bit of money. Let's look at it from a quarterly basis. Again, losing less and less money. So it went from losing $100 million down to 60 million, down to only about 7 million. So that's one big reason why it had a good move after earnings. Earnings were solid, stock did well, doing about 500 million per quarter, roughly, a little bit less than that, on track to do between 1.8 and $2 billion 2023 fiscal year. Oh no, so this is there. Yeah, so this is going to be the calendar year. It's going to probably end up in that range, but in the fiscal year of 24, it probably will do about $2 billion or so. Still losing a little bit of money, but not too much. The balance sheet overall has about $2.5 billion in assets and about $1.3 billion in debt. Not terrific. Don't like to see that, but still, that's where it is. There's no earnings, so there's no PE. Price to sales is about 4 for a company growing at about 17, 16%. Not terrific. It's okay. I'd like to see it a little bit lower, but still, it has been doing very well from a stock perspective over the last couple of times. So let's go see. Gross margins are pretty good. Net margins and EBITDA margins have been struggling. So overall, I would give it a B plus in terms of fundamentals. Start from the very beginning, all the way at the top. Multiple years, the stock went public somewhere in the 2016 timeframe. Went public in the $20 range. Ended that day at about the $38 range, so it went up fairly high. And then today, it's pretty much close to where it was on the $36 range. So it's a little bit higher than the IPO price. So it went up all the way, if you see, to $65 per share in 2018. And then since then, it's been in a tear. So if you had to draw a very long-term, if you will, view on where it is, this is where it's been headed. So it's gone through multiple sets of downs, tried to stage a recovery, stage 4, stage 1, and then stage 2. This is stage 1 again. So now it's broken through a bunch of barriers. on an annualized basis is probably heading out a little bit higher. So that's one of the reasons why it showed up. This is the monthly chart. Let's go to the weekly chart, see what we see. So it's broken through a lot of barriers, but this might be a good way to look at it. There's quite a bit of, if you will, it's broken through this barrier of the 37 range, where it had multiple locations where it touched it. So it's broken through that in a strong way, 6% up today. So it's likely going to go up. And if you look at the number of times it's had a bull flag break. So this is a bear flag break, headed down, again a bear flag, then a bull flag, headed a little bit down, moved up. And then look at this. This is a nice bull flag, that pattern that is formed. That would be the pattern. So that's good, which means it's going to head up a little bit high. The RSI on a weekly basis is stretched all the way to the top. So whenever this happens, it's going to head back a little bit down. So my suspicion is there's going to be a little bit of a support for it to be formed in the 33 zone. It might come back and touch the 33 zone again. My hope is that it doesn't come in all the way. Probably 36 would be a good place to say if there was a stop loss to take. But this is one, I'm going to remove that top one, but looks like this might be a good target for it in the $40 range. So 38 to 48, it's about a buck and a half is where it might head a little bit more on this. But the bottom, the support seems to be a lot farther away. So my suggestion is on the weekly, it doesn't look like, it looks a little bit stretched on the weekly. On the daily chart, okay, so it's formed a good bull flag pattern. For the last 1 year, it is actually broken through, and this is a 52-week high. So it's probably hitting itself on a 52-week high. This is, yeah, there you go. Close to a 52-week high. It's hitting new weekly highs, daily highs. And so this is where it's been right now. This was earnings. After earnings, it formed a strong gap up. Wasn't a very powerful candle, but still a good gap up. Moved around a little bit, came up down back again to touch a 33, and now it's headed slowly back again to 38. We know that there is a resistance in the 40.1 kind of a zone. So it doesn't have too much upside left for it in the short term. And even on the daily chart, it could go up a little bit more, at least another 4 to 5 points. But even on the daily chart, the RSI looks very extended. So this is likely going to take a little bit of a break. My suspicion is it'll probably hit to the 40 range and then try and give a touch back to the 38 range, or maybe even a little bit lower than that, but shouldn't go far much lower. This looks like a good stock that has gone from the earnings time frame 33 all to 38, roughly about 15-20%, and could expect another 10% or so. Maybe not 10%, but at least another 5% up or so should be possible in the next couple of weeks. So again, earnings were on, let's see, 31st of August. So November 31st is quite a while away. So definitely can put in a few more 52-week highs to the 40 range, to the 41 range. It has a little bit of resistance there. And once it gets to the 50, 41, 42 range, the next stop for it definitely is in the 45, 43 range. So 43, 44, that seems like a next stop as well. So definitely easy for it to go to 40.8 from 38.7, 38.9 right now. Buck and point, $1.02. RSI looks okay. The moving averages are all tending upward, both on the weekly and also on the daily chart. So that's a good sign. You want to buy this, but there's a little bit too much resistance for me to be comfortable in the 40 range. So if I do trade, I'll take a short trade here, but expect it to go down to 38, retouch 38 maybe again, 36 maybe again, and then buy it to head back up. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys. Please share, like, and subscribe for the show.